They told me the DNA had matched, and then they told me it had already matched before. Same body, 3 names. That was the moment I knew something was wrong, long before I understood how deep it went. The body was discovered on a Tuesday morning, just after sunrise. I remember that because the call came in while I was still half asleep, staring at the ceiling, listening to traffic outside my apartment. Unidentified male, estimated mid-30s, found in a drainage culvert beneath an access road outside the city. No wallet, no phone, no fingerprints on file. Nothing unusual at first. That kind of call happens more often than people think. I was working records intake back then, not field work, paperwork, evidence logs, cross-checking names that never quite matched faces. The body arrived with a temporary identifier, John Doe 317. That number would follow me for years. He was clean, too clean. No signs of prolonged exposure to the elements, despite being found outdoors. No defensive wounds. Cause of death listed as undetermined pending further tests. The autopsy photos landed on my desk 3 days later. I stared at them longer than I should have. Not because they were disturbing, because they weren't. No tattoos, no piercings, no healed fractures visible at first glance. Just a man who looked like he could have been anyone you passed in a grocery store. That should have been the end of it. But 2 weeks later, the first match came back. Partial DNA alignment to a missing person from 12 years earlier, a college student who vanished during a road trip through Nevada. Different state, different decade. The report said possible familial match, the kind that usually goes nowhere. Still, procedure required a deeper comparison. Dental records didn't line up. Height was off by 3 inches. The missing student had a childhood surgery scar on his lower abdomen. Our body didn't. That discrepancy was noted, flagged, filed. Case remained open. 3 months passed. Then the second match came in. This one was stronger. A confirmed DNA match to a construction worker who disappeared 5 years ago in Missouri. Married, 2 kids. I remember the exact moment I saw the name because my stomach dropped. Different birth year, different social security number, different medical history. But the DNA probability was listed at over 99%. That doesn't happen. Not like that. I pulled the autopsy report again. This time there was a note I didn't remember seeing before. Healed surgical scar, lower abdomen, approximately 6 centimeters. I flipped through the earlier version. It wasn't there. Same case number, same body, updated file date. No explanation. I told myself it was a clerical error. Someone corrected a mistake. That's what records people say when they don't want to ask questions. The construction worker's family was notified. Closure was offered. They declined to claim the body. Said it didn't feel right. I didn't blame them. The case went quiet again. Until the third match. This one came from a federal database update, new technology, expanded indexing. The notification came through after midnight. Another confirmed DNA match. A man reported missing just 18 months earlier. Different race listed in his file, different eye color, different fingerprints on record. And yet, there it was. Same genetic markers, same mitochondrial profile. Same unidentified body. By then, I had learned not to trust the files as they appeared. I requested archived versions, hard copies, microfilm, anything that hadn't been touched by the system updates. That's when the timeline started to unravel. The earliest autopsy report described a healed fracture in the left wrist. The next version didn't mention it. Later versions listed a childhood tonsillectomy. Earlier ones didn't mention it. Scars appeared, then disappeared. Blood type changed once, then changed back. No one signed off on the revisions. No initials, no explanation, just updates. I started asking questions, quiet ones. The medical examiner said the body had never changed. She said that happens. Information evolves as it comes in. But information wasn't coming in. It was being overwritten. I checked the storage logs. The body had been transferred between facilities twice. No transport records, no chain of custody notes, just timestamps. Always late at night, always automated. What would you think if this happened to you? If you were staring at a file that kept rewriting itself and everyone around you acted like it was normal? I tried to trace the DNA submissions. The samples came from the same tissue source every time, same lab ID. But the lab didn't exist anymore. It had been absorbed into a larger contractor years earlier. Their records retention policy listed the original files as destroyed, except ours weren't. They kept updating. I visited the storage facility myself. The drawer labeled John Doe 317 was empty, not missing, reassigned. Inside was a new label, evidence placeholder. No date, no initials, just that. I stood there longer than I should have. The security guard asked if I needed help. I told him no. That night, I dreamed about forms filling themselves out, names sliding into blanks they didn't belong in, faces that never stayed the same. The third family was never notified. Their match was marked pending review, then quietly downgraded to inconclusive. The other two remained resolved. Officially, John Doe 317 no longer existed, but the files do. They still do. Every year or so, I check. Sometimes the body matches 2 people, sometimes 4. Once, briefly, it matched none. Then the matches came back. Different names, different years, same body. The autopsy scars continue to change, always just enough to fit the record it's matching, as if the body isn't being identified, as if it's being assigned. I stopped working records not long after that. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't stop thinking about how many cases might work like this. How many unresolved disappearances might be quietly closed with something that isn't really an answer. A placeholder. Something to make the system feel complete. I don't know who the man in the culvert was. I don't know if he ever had a name. What I know is that somewhere in the system there is a body that becomes whoever it needs to be. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. If this case unsettled you, I'd like to hear your theory in the comments. You can like the video if it stayed with you, and subscribe for more Shadow Case Files. I'll be here, watching the records update.